It is exactly 9:53 a.m. In a couple of minutes' time, we will be wrapping up the show. But our final interview for the morning is with Bridget Munich, and this is about the Constitutional Court sitting to hear a landmark case on the 25th of September that could change how rape is prosecuted in South Africa. So let's welcome Bridget to the program and let her begin to unpack this story and the repercussions there too. Bridget Munich, a very good morning to you. Welcome. Bridget, are you there?
Good morning, this is Venessa. Louw.
Venessa, hello. Are you standing in for Bridget?
They contact me. It could be that I could stand in for Bridget, but yes, I'm Venessa Louw from the Westbury area.
Okay, thank you very much for standing in, Venessa Louw. I've just been told now by my technical producer that Bridget was not available and you very kindly have stepped in. So very good morning, welcome. Very quickly, please tell us your role and why is it that you're talking with us this morning on this very serious matter?
Okay. I'm Venessa Louw from Coronation Road, the Westbury area, West Rand. I serve in the community dealing with gender-based violence, domestic violence. I'm a survivor as well of gender-based violence. So this is what the work that we do is with our community for abuse cases. And my role as a community leader is to empower our youth, our children in our community, where we do various talks at schools, churches, and in our local community.
Great stuff. Keep up the good work. And I'm so sorry to hear that you too are a victim of GBV. Stay safe. And I'm so glad that you've taken back your power. So, how does this new landmark case, how do you believe it's going to have an impact on how rape is prosecuted in South Africa? Because under the current law, survivors are forced to prove that they did not consent, which is something critics say is deeply unjust and also very traumatizing.
That's right, Joe. So what happens is that our rape cases normally also come from where a victim is becoming, where the perpetrator actually has anger. The perpetrator is also in control and has power over the victim that is being raped. So we're sitting with situations where we are struggling to actually control situations like this in our communities. It happens in homes. It happens in our community where ladies maybe come from a late club. But the situations regarding rape is it's escalating day after day because this actually leads from abuse, it leads from anger and perpetrators. So it is becoming a very serious situation, and we are looking into the matter as local community leaders, how it is that we can empower more of our young girls, our moms, our women, our children need to be protected. So this is actually a very sad situation that's happening currently in our communities due to anger of the perpetrator. And these are perpetrators that is actually having power and control. But if all these and coming from anger, abuse, and evil thoughts, that's also happening.
And undoubtedly, also substance abuse plays a huge role in these type of perpetrations happening amongst people within the communities. What do you believe, and who are the people or the groups of people that has taken this matter to the Constitutional Court? What sort of an outcome are you hoping to get from this, and what's the difference going to be regarding the current in the way the current cases are heard in court?
Okay, according to how I always believe is that I'm also, I've been raped at the age of 5 years old, and I remember it very clearly. I'm currently 53 years old, and I
Sure.
remember I had on a green dress that day. And the guy that actually raped me, he passed away 2 years later. But to me, it was that, wow, no one's protecting me, no one worries about me. My parents, they actually covered this case so well in the sense that no one seen me for counseling. But at a later stage in my life, at the age of 36, I went into a setback where that whole day of the when I was 5 years old actually played out in front of me. And I then went in a panic attack and asked the question is that, did no one love me? Because now you feel so dirty, you can't understand is that why could no one have protected me? And currently what's also happening in our communities is that if we look at the situation that happened in Elders of the 4-year-old girl, is that why was there no one that could have taken care of this child? Are we so blinded by the evil that's happening? And the moment we are able to break the silence, that is the important thing. We need to get knowledge of how it is that we actually save our little girls, our young girls, our moms, our grandmothers, because rape happens to anyone. So that evil of the perpetrator actually, and it actually overpowers you because it's a spirit that overpowers you because you are screaming on the inside and no one hears you. So it needs to be an awareness that it's constantly in our faces. Say to our little girls and our little boys, no one needs to touch you. Only you touch your body yourself. No one, because we cannot trust anyone. Because at the age of 5, I trusted no one after that. My own family couldn't protect me.
Okay, so let's look at the case that is being brought to the Constitutional Court. What are the changes you're hoping to see once the case is heard?
Okay, once this case has been heard, they need, I believe, and what I would love to see is that we should protect our children at all times. We need to protect every other woman, a man, men as well, is that we need to start having support groups where we actually empower each and everyone. Families need to have meetings, a community needs to have support groups where we empower. Empowerment is so important, is that we empower people. Because if you don't have knowledge about something, you are not able to know how to actually use a certain defense. If a child knows that an adult is not supposed to touch my body, that child's going to leave that person. But the outcome that needs to happen in this situation is that they need to have more awarenesses. They need to actually let the perpetrator understand is that we are saying no to every crime, every act that is being done in our communities, in our families. But support groups is important. We need to stand up for one another. We need to put our ear on the ground and say, I'm able to listen to the next person. Whoever comes and reports a situation, let us then see how we can best help. But we need to have more awareness. And this is what we are struggling in our communities and in our families. People do not have knowledge of what it is that the law says that if you rape, this is the situation. But it's important for us to get more empowerment of what's happening.
Okay, let's wrap up now. And the all-important question, how do you want to see a rape case being prosecuted in South Africa? Because currently, I think the concern is that it's very unjust and traumatizing for the victim. So what do you want to see different when a rape case is being heard, prosecuted, and sentence being handed down?
My solution to it is that I just see that a rape perpetrator that rape need not to be in prison on trial for more than a week. Immediate prosecution needs to take place because that person, if it is that he has his right, and that is what the law needs to look into, is that immediate prosecution needs to take place because these are cases that scar our people day after day. Every other case scar you, but when it comes to rape, it is a very brutal and evil scar that no one can see. It's in conjunction with domestic violence because that spirit stays with you, it stagnates your life. But prosecution needs to happen immediately. It need not to let a trial go so long.
And what sort of sentence, if the perpetrator is found guilty, what sort of sentence do you believe should be meted out to them?
um, I think if I can speak from my side, to me it
Absolutely.
was, yeah, could die immediately because this person has taken my dignity away from me. So speaking from someone that came through that process, to me it was the person need not to be around and not to be seen. So the death sentence, that is what everyone else would feel. Every other woman that has been a victim of rape, even men that's been raped or been hurt in that form, sexual abuse, is that you just feel that this person should not actually live. But that is what you feel that moment. But before we need, I remember that in South Africa, that they brought the death sentence, and that is what you believe as a victim. They should not be around and not be seen because they might be the perpetrator of some alleged victim.
According to our constitution, obviously the death sentence has been done away with. So, bearing
Yes.
that in mind, do you believe that the perpetrator should then be in prison for the rest of his life, his or her life?
If it is that is for the rest of his or her life, his life in prison, is that going to change the victim? Because the fact is that that person can still be seen. You see what's happening in our prisons, social media. These prisoners have cell phones. So constantly, when you see this person's face, how trauma are you as a victim?
Mm.
So whether you get life or whether you get a year, it's the same.
Do you believe that the Constitutional Court will perhaps hear this landmark case very sympathetically, knowing that once a person has been raped, it doesn't matter how old you are or how young you were, that trauma lives with you for the rest of your life. It
That's right.
actually breaks your spirit and changes your whole life path completely, and you could never be whole again.
Yes, you actually go into a time where if you even though you get counseling, it's that it's a scar that stays with you. Is that you feel you're not worthy, and even if the constitutional court hear this matter with any other woman or any other man that's being raped, is that you just say that the law is the law. We will obey the law. So at the end of the day, is that you as a victim, the only thing that you can do is that you're gonna have to live through this and try to better your life, not and also make sure that you give your testimony to say to others, speak about it, because that is actually what healed me. I spoke about it. I encourage people. I'm a counselor in my own profession where I counsel people and encourage them. But that is how I got healed. And I'm able to say, no, this is what, because going to the court, he died 2 years later, the perpetrator. So to me, it was, okay, he's no longer being seen, but I can feel the pain of another woman because I've been through that.
What do you believe that, and we're going to wrap up in 2 or 3 minutes' time, but what do you believe had your perpetrator still been alive, and if you had had the power to get him arrested or to hold him accountable for what he did to you, what is it that you would have hoped for him to say to you for you to get closure on the matter?
If he wasn't still alive, my hope was that he would have come and apologized. He would have explained that why it is that he had chosen me among so many other women or children in our community, and what is it that made him go through that to have raped. Because he was a big man of the age of, he was 30 already, and I was 5 years old. So what was it that made him go for a younger girl and not for a woman his age, or get married, or date someone, but to take someone like a child and say to him, come on, you also then a dad, you then also an uncle, you are a brother, you have a mom. How would you have felt if it happened to one of you? So a lot of questions go through your mind, a lot of questions. And the answer that you were only looking for is that, why me?
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, but are you hopeful that you're going to get perhaps a positive response, pardon, from the Constitutional Court?
Yes, that is my hope that every other victim that's gone through rape, that they will feel satisfied if they hear every other decision, the decision that the court makes, if they give life to that rapist, whatever, because each victim has a different opinion or has a different feeling regarding the prosecution of a rapist.
Venessa, I'm so sorry for what had happened to you, but I also applaud you for how you've picked yourself up and you're moving forward. You are a survivor of domestic violence, and you are also an employee at a Sekwanele Empowerment Center for Abused Women and Children, and a survivor of GBV. Venessa Louw, thank you so much for talking to us, and you go out and make sure that you get all of the powers that be to get involved to make our areas, our communities safer places for our girls, mothers, sisters, and children. God bless you. I salute you. Take care and goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Louw Media. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you indeed. It's 11 after 10 o'clock. Thank you indeed for your company on the show today. Remember, I will be back with you tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock on the mid-morning show with me, Julie Ali. So till then, take care, have a wonderful day, and Khud Hafiz.